What's up guys, DuArktik with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we're going to talk about Cosmo, and we're going to take a look at why Cosmo not only barks but he also bites. So this character and this team overall, the Knowhere team, they are kind of being underlooked, but these characters are actually quite powerful. And we already took a look at Korg in a previous video, and yesterday on my live stream I was showing Korg in Alliance Wars, and the insane damage output that is able to provide, and also the utility that is able to provide. So overall, I think this team is way more interesting than people are giving credit for. But once again, in this video, we're going to talk about Cosmo, and once again, why not only barks, but he also bites. So as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure to smash that like button. Okay, so on the previous video, we were taking a look at this team in Dark Dimension. And I mean, this team, we are talking about Korg and Cosmo, because Knowhere, you cannot use them together in Dark Dimension. But if you take a look at this team in Alliance Wars, they are very, very powerful. Now, this is all going to depend on the isolate you use. You can get some additional value out of them, but just a 3-man piece, they can destroy multiple teams. I'm actually even going to put this on fast speed, because yeah, if you take a look at all the teams, we have a lot of things to go through. Okay, so as you can see, like at a 3-piece, 400k team or something, they are destroying teams with over 1 million power. So Heroes Guardians, Young Avengers, I don't know, Heroes for Hire, even Heroes for Hire, with just 1 trauma, it's enough for them to destroy those teams. And if you pair them up right now with like a Tangled Web or Undying, of course you can destroy Gammas as well. It depends on the size, of course, so keep that in mind. But yeah, the team is very, very good. The utility they provide to each other is very, very good, and it's one of those teams that is unbelievably solid. Other thing that you have to take a look at, it's their utility outside of Alliance Wars. And we compare it to teams like the Underworld. So Underworld is also Alliance Wars team, but when you use the Underworld outside of Alliance Wars, they lose like 50% HP, they lose 50% focus, 50% resistance. They lose pretty much 50% of everything. But with the Knowhere team, they lose only a little bit of resistance, they lose 30% HP, and that's it. So they keep most of their stats outside of Alliance Wars, and the boosts they get in Alliance Wars, it's not that big of a deal. So here we are facing Heroes for Hire. Let's just take a look at this match, and you'll see that it's quite remarkable. And Korg is just so overpowered. The fact that he's reviving over and over again, I actually regret it not trying to get 6 and 7 red stars on him, because he's that powerful. Just with a little bit of barrier like he has now, if he has defense up and deflects, he's just so tanky, he's just so massive, he's quite insane. Okay, so let's go back to talk about Cosmo, the dog. I still think that is a male dog. Now we have the trans border, so maybe now he's a trans dog, whatever. But make sure you check out the channel for new videos every day. And let's talk about Cosmo. So Cosmo, in terms of stats, is quite strong. So you can see 1.2 million HP without buffs. Of course, this is with 7 yellow stars and 7 red stars, level 95, but no ISO 8. So keep that in mind, because with ISO 8, this team goes way beyond 1.5 million. In terms of the damage, it's nice, but this is a support character, so it doesn't matter much. The armor, look at this armor. With the defense subs, with the deflects and so on, a barrier, healing and so on that this team gets, the armor is very, very good and very, very strong. Then the focus is also pretty decent, but this is something where Cosmo struggles a little bit. We're going to talk about that in a second. And the resistance gives more 10% resistance, so it's not a big deal. Now, other thing that is quite great is the speed. So Cosmo is almost as fast as Quicksilver, which is impressive. And that's kind of a meme right now, because yeah, Quicksilver is too slow. Okay, so that's Cosmo. Let's talk about his T4s. And unfortunately, that's the thing about the Knowhere team, is that they are super, super heavy on T4s. They just require so many T4s. Hero Cosmic Bio Support, Guardian, Knowhere, and Intergalactic. So that means that he has synergies with Rocket Raccoon, with Groot, and with the original Star-Lord. And yes, you can make hybrid teams for different game modes based on these tags, like for example, Dark Dimension, or Raids, or Cosmic Crucible or whatever. You can split this team in different parts and make cool combinations with these characters. Okay, so with the T-Force, the basic is something that you can skip. We are not going to use him as a striker, so it's not going to be a big deal. Clear one additional negative effect from Cosmo and clear one more positive effect from the enemies. This team has a lot of buff removal, so this is not going to be a super important T4. In terms of the special, it clears all positive effects from the enemies. This is going to be a turn 1 ability, and it's the one that you want to use. The ultimate you cannot use, and the basic is not super convenient. So special, it's turn 1 ability, nice amount of damage. We have 400% multiplier to multiple targets, and clears positive effects from all of them. So it's not a must-have T4. It really depends on which matches you are facing against. So if you just want to use this character for Dark Dimensional raids, not a big deal. In Alliance Wars is definitely gonna matter. So it's a must-have T4 for Alliance Wars. Okay, now we have zoomies, we have the ultimate, and in war, apply safeguard +1, so this will stack up your safeguards if you have multiple of them. And on top of that, the best part is that it generates more energy. I really wish this was in all game modes because it's such a powerful ability. Unfortunately, it has a long cooldown. But yeah, for Alliance Wars, I'm not even sure if they need this. To be honest, I'm not even sure if they need it, but it's once again, all of the T4s are nice to have in war. It's not like, oh, I must have this. Because the team is so powerful that you're gonna beat the enemies even without these additional T4s on Cosmo. Finally, we have the passive, and the passive is probably the T4 that you actually want to have because it affects all game modes. And it's one of the reasons why Cosmo is such a good character. So when enemies attack this character, apply offense down for 2 turns to the enemies. And on top of that, you're also going to apply bleeds. And the stronger your ability is, the more damage your bleeds are going to apply. While this character has deflect or minor deflect, stop the crit chance of all enemies by 50%. And if I remember correctly, this works in all game modes. So this will be even a great counter against certain nodes. Now, I want to show you once again the gameplay because I want you to see, like, when Cosmo gets attacked, he's applying offense down and bleeds to Mario and Faye. So guess what? The focus for Cosmo is going to be very important, and that's going to help define which is going to be his isolate. Okay, so let's go back to the webpage, to marvelstrikeforce.com or msf.gg. And when we take a look at the meta of the T4s, you can see right here that people are using most of them. Let's see, the passive is the most important one. The ultimate is once again another must-have because of the energy. The other ones not as important. Now, what I wanted to talk about is the isolate. Most people are using this character as a healer. It's not necessary, bro. With the offense downs that you're applying to the enemies, with the stuns that you're applying to the enemies, with the blinds that you're applying to the enemies, with the ability blocks that you're applying to the enemies, when you have the full team, plus the offense down for 2 turns, plus the defense ups, plus the deflects, you don't need Cosmo as a healer. You don't need. And the healer that he does is actually quite mediocre because of the long cooldowns on the abilities. So while we usually want healer characters to be fast and we have a lot of HP, which is the case of Cosmo, it's just not necessary for him. What's going to be more important is going to be the second option, the Skirmisher Isolate, because once again, you want to make sure that you apply those offense downs to the enemies, you want to make sure that you apply those bleeds to the enemies as well, and when you are clearing positive effects, you really want to make sure that you clear those positive effects. So we don't have as many options or as much debate like we had with Korg. In my opinion, Korg way better as a striker. Yesterday on my live stream, I proved it why. And with Cosmo, I think there is no much debate as well. The Skirmisher Isolate is just so much better, is actually unbelievable. And to be honest, like most of the healing on this team is coming from Nova Ultimate. He has a battlefield effect, he is healing up the team every turn. So the healing from Cosmo, like I said, long cooldowns and not a meaningful amount. It's also a small multiplier of healing. It's not going to be that big of a deal. So focus instead on the Skirmisher and the utility that Cosmo is able to provide to the team rather than the healing. Okay, so that's Cosmo for you. once again, not only he barks, he also bites. When he applies those bleeds, when he applies that offense down to the enemies, that's going to greatly impact the performance of the enemy team. Because once again, with your deflects, with your defense ups, and with offense down on the enemies, it's going to be really, really hard to apply any kind of negative effects to your team. And this is why this team is so powerful on punch ups. They can punch up huge, and even with a three-piece team, the team still beats a lot of war meta teams because of that. So overall, I think this character is quite nice, even that even if you're not the biggest fan of dogs, and especially trans dogs, it's not a big deal. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this team, and you can even have some value in Dark Dimension as a three-piece. So for example, Korg, Cosmo, and Star-Lord, the new Star-Lord Annihilation could also be an option for there. In the future, we might see this team in raids. I'm not ready to show that yet, but that's also a possibility because once again, they have the stats and they have the mechanics in order to work very well in raids. So maybe in the future, we'll see this team being used on the bio nodes, but that's something for the future. So that's going to be all for now, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. Cosmo, do you think he also bites like me, or you just think he barks? Let me know all of that in the comments below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. And if you found the video helpful, make sure to share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content. And I'll catch you guys later.